Welcome to TPM Vid's Disney Beat, where we talk about all things Disney. If you're new to the channel and like what you see, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video. You can also find us on all your favorite social media platforms. Disney's rides and attractions immerse us into many themed experiences. But sometimes the magic is interrupted when the animatronics malfunction or when the rides break down. In some of these situations where things do go wrong, Disney has many B Mode contingency plans to keep the rides and shows going. Now, thanks to submissions from viewers like you, today we have a lot of these malfunctions and Plan Bs to share. If you've caught a fail or malfunction on camera, you can submit it to www.tpmvids.com for a chance to have it featured in a future video. Now you know how this works, so let's count down the top 10 Disney fails and animatronic malfunctions, the B Mode edition. Number 10. We're gonna start the list off with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Now, the ride takes you right into a Mickey Mouse short. But did you know the Carnival Twister scene has an alternate B mode? Yeah, it's kind of rare to see though, but just for reference, this is what the scene looks and sounds like in normal A mode. I love Donald losing all of his feathers. So Mickey and Minnie's balloons are controlled by a rotating robotic arm behind the physical set. This gives them that floating illusion. Now, if the animatronics experience a projector malfunction, it usually fixes itself fairly quickly. But sometimes the robotic arm itself malfunctions. Here in this submission from Numo Studio, you don't even see the balloons in the start position. They're normally right here, which means the arm got stuck on the other end and couldn't reset for the next set of vehicles. The scene kinda needs Mickey and Minnie. Their spirits just don't cut it. So, in an event where the arm does malfunction, the ride will usually switch the scene into B mode, which you'll see in this clip sent in by a viewer named Sammy. The foreground of the scene is made up of physical sets, and the background is all projected. So this does allow for a bit more versatility when it comes to creating alternate scenarios. The only issue with B Mode is that from the front row of cars, the visibility of Mickey and Minnie is kind of limited, as you can see in this clip submitted by Luca and Ava the Disney Nerds. It's not the most ideal, but it's better than no mice at all. Overall though, it's not a bad alternative. What do you think? Number 9. Rise of the Resistance is one of the most technologically complex rides Disney has built. Just in the first pre-show with Ray and BB-8, there is a lot that can go wrong. Now, because of this, Imagineers created a number of backup B-mode contingency plans. Yeah, so this is how the sequence usually starts off.
Incoming transmission from Ray. BB-8, is everyone assembled? Good. Shouldn't you be in flight prep? Recruits, thank you for joining the calls.
Now, sometimes there's that awkward moment when BB-8 loses power and dies, like in this submission from Joni Lynn J. In this case, BB-8 is removed and Ray's conversation with him is cut. The sequence then begins like this.
Recruits, thank you for joining the calls.
Now, you might think the hologram uses the Pepper's ghost effect, but it actually doesn't. So the illusion is achieved by using a two-way mirror. You can see the reflection of the side wall in these examples here. Then behind the mirror, there's an OLED screen. It plays the video of Ray standing against a black background. OLED produces a pure black, so anything that isn't light won't shine through. In this case, Ray would be the only object visible to guests. It's a really cool effect, but sometimes the hologram signal doesn't quite make it into the briefing room.
Your outpost on button is no longer safe.
Must be a loose connection.
Transport waiting to take you to General Organa's secret base on Pucara.
Ray is obviously an integral part of the pre-show. So this next submission from Caleb McGowan shows what happens when the hologram effect malfunctions and B mode is initiated.
Incoming transmission from Ray.
It's the exact same footage of Rey from the hologram, just in front of a different background.
Lieutenant Beck, one of our top commanders, will lead you.
It makes sense to use the screens, but the strange thing with B Mode is that the portal still lights up like she's gonna appear. It's like a magic trick gone wrong.
BB-8, is everyone assembled?
Whoops, just kidding. Number 8. At the end of Haunted Mansion, we have the encounter with the hitchhiking ghosts. This interactive effect has been used at Magic Kingdom since 2011, but did you know this scene also has a B Mode? Yeah, so back in March of this year, a viewer named Chrissy V was briefly stopped and caught it in action. I love how this one just waves you off, like, yeah, I'm not gonna follow you home. This B Mode was actually installed in 2011 when Imagineers were installing the permanent interactive effect. The illusion is usually pretty reliable though, so it's really rare getting to see this B Mode. Number 7. Over on Smuggler's Run, Hondo Ohnaka is one of the most realistic humanoid animatronics Disney has created.
I am Hondo Ohnaka, and this is Ohnaka Transport Solutions. Today, I am offering the opportunity of a lifetime.
I still remember the first time I saw this animatronic, thinking it could have very well been a real actor. Now, ever since Smuggler's Run opened in 2019, Hondo Ohnaka has had his share of malfunctions caught on camera, like in this clip from Sydney Smith.
Whoa, I can't believe I did another roar. It's good you made it back. Good for you.
We should talk about your back. In this clip from George, he looks like he's super excited to see Chewie. Wow. I'm just so surprised they let the pre-show run like this. Or actually, maybe I'm not surprised. I mean, in this next submission from Juliana, even the screen malfunctions.
Oh, it's broken?
The scene was a mess. Now, B Mode here in the pre-show involves Hondo being covered by a couple crates and sheets to hide the lifeless animatronic. Then he'll appear on the screens to the left and right of the platform instead, but his dialogue is slightly altered.
I am Hondo Ohnaka, and welcome to my completely legitimate shipping company, Ohnaka Transport Solutions. I am sorry I could not be here to welcome you in person, but the work of a smuggler and a businessman is never done.
I mean, it's not as good as an animatronic, which is the only one on the ride, but it still does the job of explaining the roles and setting up the story. Now, another place where Hondo's pre-show dialogue has a B Mode is in the single rider queue. Here you completely skip the pre-show, but in these hallways, Hondo still explains the ride.
Today, I am offering the opportunity of a lifetime. You will be my newest flight crew, smuggling it back.
It's giving Dead Hondo a run for his money. Number 6. The Navi Shaman of Songs is a massive animatronic. Now, usually when she malfunctions, it seems like there's a safeguard system that puts her in a position like in this submission from Colby B. She's just slumped right over, dead as can be. Well, back in January of 2023, a viewer named Phoenix R was on the ride and noticed the shaman like this.
She's not moving. And there's no plan B.
Well, not just yet.
So happy.
But Disney does have a quick contingency plan put in place. So there's actually a camera on the Navi Shaman. When the cast member in the control tower sees that she's malfunctioned, they'll notify the maintenance team and all the guests are cycled out of the ride. The animatronic is then lowered into the maintenance bay below, and a screen is brought down to project a video of the shaman. This ensures there's as little downtime as possible. In this case, Phoenix rode again just 20 minutes later, and B Mode had already been initiated.
ATPM this.
In reality, she is the star of the ride, so it might be a little disappointing not seeing her. Many people go on Navi River Journey just to see the Navi Shaman of Songs. Now, do you think Disney should notify the guests waiting in line that the animatronic is missing? I'd love to know your thoughts on this because sometimes the line for this ride can be really long. Comment below. Number 5. Fantasmic is a very complex show, and it has so many contingency plans in place. It's literally Plan B heaven. Now, the Steamboat Willie segment is a pretty iconic part of the finale. It's that classic Disney feel-good moment. But did you know there is a rare alternate version of the scene? So if the boat can't make it out for whatever reason, whether it's a malfunction or if a storm is in the area that could make using a metal boat unsafe, the characters all come out on stage instead, like you'll see in this video from Paul Around the World. It's just missing Mickey, Prince Eric, and Ariel. She's backstage waiting to be bagged. It's nice getting a clear view of all the characters though. Snow White leading the 7 dwarfs is such a great touch, and they all still do the ribbon dance. Here at Hollywood Studios, it isn't too common for this alternate version to be used, but the performers all know the sequence just in case. It could be switched mid-show, so they need to be ready at a moment's notice. Now, where the alternate finale did get used quite a bit was at Disneyland. Because they used the Mark Twain riverboat, there are periods when the ship is down for routine maintenance. So they just turn to the alternate finale. Sometimes it's in use for weeks or even months. Because as they say, the show must go on, except when the dragon catches on fire. Number 4. The Carnotaurus on Dinosaur is one of the most terrifying animatronics. Even with the lights on, it's terrifying. Now, the Carnotaurus is a major part of the ride's story, and the animatronic has a very rare B mode. Now, in this submission from Caitlin at Komochi.cosplay, the ride vehicle was stopped in front of the first Carnotaurus. The ride was still in full show mode, and you can see that even when the animatronic isn't performing its main animation, it still moves and breathes, giving it life. The ride's so dark that you'll probably never see this in person, but it's still really cool. You can see it rise from this position in this video from a viewer named Victoria. This one's not so much a B mode, but it's still a very clever piece of programming. Now, the real B mode involves the third Carnotaurus.
Computer, now what?
Carnotaurus.
That's it. Abort mission.
Then you get your picture taken. Well, what you probably don't know is that to the left of this animatronic is another Carnotaurus sitting in darkness. In this lights on ride through from Nathan, you can see it very clearly.
That's it.
Taxidermy at its finest. It's kind of creepy to think that a dinosaur head is just always lurking in the shadows. Now, you're probably wondering, how does this work on the ride as a B mode? Well, back in July of 2022, Blog Mickey caught it in action. Take a look.
Computer, now what?
Carnotaurus.
That's it. Abort mission.
Now, aside from a broken animatronic, this video actually has a little malfunction. The A-mode lighting for the Carnotaurus was still activated, when instead it should have been completely dark, making the camouflage a little less obvious. But yeah, B-mode is pretty much just the head on the wall lit up. This video from Rocky Rocks has the scene in full B-mode.
Computer, now what?
Carnotaurus.
That's it.
Now, if you're wondering if there's 2 different cameras for the on-ride photo, well, no, you'll just be looking the opposite way. Number 3. One of the big wow moments on Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is in the teleportation room. You enter what appears to be a circular chamber, then this happens.
Stand by for teleportation. Here we go. You made it. I mean, of course you did.
It's a cool effect that transports guests from the Wonders of Xandar Pavilion into space. The circular piece is a full wall, and during the blackout, it rises to reveal the actual room. It's exactly how the finale of Journey into Imagination works. Now, the mechanism for the circular wall has been known to malfunction. And because of this, Imagineers created a B mode for the scene. A viewer named Jordan caught it on camera.
This is not how it's supposed to look. That's crazy. That's interesting.
Now in B mode, all the dialogue is the exact same.
We have never teleported Terrence before.
See, we're not in space yet because the window chamber is closed.
Stand by for teleportation.
Now get ready for the big reveal.
You made it. I mean,
Space. It's obviously not epic or anything, but at least there's still some kind of reveal. Number 2. The newest animatronic at Disneyland Paris can be found on Avengers Assemble Flight Force. In the pre-show, a very impressive Iron Man animatronic informs you about your mission.
Votre mission, piloter ces véhicules et détourner les missiles de la Terre.
And Captain Marvel also pops up on the screen to the right.
Tony's built a transponder that the missile's targeting system will lock onto.
Well, when I visited Disneyland Paris last year, I walked into the pre-show expecting an Iron Man reveal, only to find that it was in B mode. The back walls that make up the chamber Iron Man is standing in actually rotate around and close to block the animatronic from view. Then Iron Man appears on that screen to the right, and Captain Marvel makes her appearance on the bigger TV at the top. Now, what I find most interesting here is that Disney has created an animation of Iron Man matching the exact movements of the animatronic.
Repulsors augmented. Consider your hands juiced.
I'm honestly surprised they didn't just film the animatronic like they did with the shaman, because it moves really well. Either way, this B mode still gets the job done, explaining the mission you're about to go on. Number 1. Rise of the Resistance has 3 main animatronic figures, and from the beginning, they've all been notorious for breaking down.
how brave, but ultimately hopeless.
There is no B mode for the scene, so there's a really good chance you'll see a lifeless Kylo Ren, Huck, or maybe even both. Now, the second Kylo Ren animatronic is definitely more impressive.
There's no escape. You will tell me the location of the secret base, and then I will destroy you and the Resistance.
He malfunctions just as much as the first, but usually the wing keeps him covered, and the ride system will automatically switch the scene into B mode. Well, that's usually what happens.
Secret base, and then I will destroy you and the Resistance.
Okay.
For whatever reason, they hadn't switched over the scene yet, and Kylo's smock was still blowing in the wind. This area here is usually dark, so this is what B mode actually looks like.
Your efforts are wasted. You cannot escape me. Your precious Resistance is about to be destroyed.
Since these are trackless ride vehicles, it makes the change just that much more seamless, and some people may not even know it's Plan B. Then, I mean, there's others who will, like this viewer named Beck.
Your precious Resistance is about to be destroyed.
I'd say you have a 50-50 chance of Kylo Ren actually working. So, have you ever experienced a malfunction or B mode before? What was that experience like? I'd love to know. Leave a comment down below to start a conversation, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video.